Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wait a few minutes. Going to have to wait a few minutes for... I don't understand why I lost the sound. I have no idea why that happened. It's an amazing thing that YouTube does. To me, especially, they always have these little things they do to my live streams. They'll either... Well, I don't know where I left off without going back to the other live stream, and it won't even load. I'm trying to load it, but I can't load it. So what I was talking about, what I was the last topic that I was talking about is how dangerous some people's jobs are. And for the people out there that have never risked their lives and limb and their persons or their families or even been in charge of a particular position in life, like a truck driver, like a Pennsylvania trucker, where he could make a mistake and kill via an accident, not on purpose, but, you know, wipe out entire families with his truck. So that's what we were talking about. That's what I was talking about. And how some people out there in YouTube, they think that they're accomplished in life because monetary, because they have a little money, not a lot of money. And they think because they have a little money, they think that they're better than other people. Like, I could give you for instances, but I won't. But people that have a little bit of money that think that they're better than people that have less money, I don't base my opinions on how much money somebody has, because I've known people that own 51 pizza parlors and 30 or 35 seafood restaurants and several Tony Romas. And that guy worked, he was making, easily, he was making between $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a day back in the 1980s. And if you saw him, if you walked into the restaurant, you could not tell that he was the owner of almost 100 different successful restaurants. So, because he worked 14 hours a day or more. So people that have a little bit of money and think that they're better than people that don't have any money because they get time to relax, leisure time. Some people enjoy working, and that's how they spend their lives, working. Other people enjoy swimming or scuba diving or flying a kite, and that's how they enjoy their lives. And other people enjoy being political animals, and that's what the topic of this video segment is going to be, as to whether or not Trump is a narcissist. So we're going to get off the topic of dangerous jobs, which most of us men out there in the world have had dangerous jobs or been responsible for other people's lives. Now, a Pennsylvania trucker is responsible for people's lives, in that if he has an accident, he could seriously hurt or injure or kill people. Spanky 9067, same thing. And I don't know if I had said this before, but Spanky 9067 works for a major corporation, and he's coming up on 1.25 million miles. 1.25 million road miles without an accident. And there's an award for that, I believe. So I see one commenter here, and I don't know who it is. So Shiny Rhythm Blog's been following me for a long time. You also made a promise to me a long time ago, Shiny Rhythm Blog, that you didn't keep. Don't think I forgot that. I gave you a shout out. I helped build your channel, and you didn't keep your words. So best you just watch and pay attention. I keep my word. I kept my word. You did not keep your word. Shiny Rhythm Blogs. So please stop posting, because I don't even want to waste my time with your comments. Pedro Rojas Cervantes. Hi, hello, Admiral Fazio. Thank you, Pedro. Pedro's usually has something positive to say, and thank you for stopping by. Now, I know that in the first live stream, I talked about people who name names and associate my topic matter with other people's names and or channels. We're not going to do that. We're not going to allow that to happen. So if you're thinking about associating another person's name or channel with the topic matter at hand, please don't do that. It won't be beneficial for you, and certainly I'll block it. So that's your opinion. And in the first video, I made it so clear. If you have an opinion about somebody, even if the person is the most best dancer in the whole entire world, and your opinion is that he's a great dancer and he can dance to hip hop music, I don't care about that. I suggest you don't come on here and try to get your channel name on my channel live stream so that people will go to your channel to see who the best dancer is. I'm not interested in who the best dancer in the world is. I'm not interested in whether or not you believe a certain person is an outright blatant liar. I'm not interested in that. If you believe there is a certain person or channel that's absolutely worthless, like I believe Big Kevin's channel has a lot of stuff on Big Kevin's channel that I won't watch, so I don't turn it on. But if you believe it, don't come on here and start talking about Big Kevin. If I want to talk about Big Kevin, this is my show. I don't find Big Kevin's channel to have any value for me to spend any time there, so I don't go to Big Kevin's channel now several months. But if you don't believe that Big Kevin's channel doesn't have any good content, what I suggest is that you go to Big Kevin's channel and you research what Big Kevin has to talk about, and then you start your own live stream. Don't come on my channel posting other people's names. I'll do that myself when the time comes. So I have to say thank you for the super chat from, I think it was Dennis Adams and Simulacron. Admiral Fazio, Pedro calls me. Yeah. I have the Rabbi Chewbacca headband on, as you will notice. So what I want to do is I want to thank Simulacron, thank you, and Dennis Adam for the super chat from last live stream. Although I can't see it now, what I can do is say thank you. I did see it. They both were very generous donations on my live stream. Thank you. And I'm going to go to Mr. Trump, a narcissist. And I'm going to start reading about narcissists. And I will let you have an opinion about Trump for three reasons. One, Trump is a politician. So all free and clear to say pretty much anything you want about a politician because he's a public figure, which pretty much goes with any public figure, a mayor or a governor or a senator or a judge. And in America, you can pretty much say whatever you want because they're public figures. And that goes pretty much in every country, in every system of law. Public figures, you're allowed to, some people call it chastise, some people call it the truth. But either way, we're going to go to Trump, the political animal, because that's what politicians are, political animals. And is he a narcissist? And I'm going to go to my notes, and I'm going to go, first note, is it illegal to ask or even call Trump a narcissist? No, the answer is no. Actually, I covered this in the first video. Narcissism is what leads people to great things. It's when you move to the next level of narcissism that may or may not be beneficial for you or your surroundings. So Trump, I'm going to go through these notes quick. Trump only built 3 miles of new border wall. That's it. And 200 miles were refurbished border walls. So let me get that link up. Let me get that link up right now. Trump campaigns to build border wall. I'm going through my previous live streams comments. I'm not reading the comments that really don't have anything to do with this topic, but you're welcome to post them as long as you don't get involved with other people's business. And then Pedro was a real man. He drove straight trucks for 40 years. Yeah, and driving the truck is a risky business. That's a man's job. A man's job. A straight truck, as opposed to a tractor trailer, would be like a U-Haul that you could, anybody with a driver's license can rent, but not necessarily drive or drive well. A straight truck would be like a 16-foot box of Lay's potato chips, or a 20, I think up to 22-foot or 24-foot box for moving trucks that you can rent from Hertz Rental. Dennis Adam, thank you for the super chat. So, yeah, it's a risky business. Now, Dennis Adams is a different type of a real man. Dennis Adams just built and posted a video on a freezer stand that he built from angle iron, and cut the angle iron with a steel cutoff saw, and then clamped the angle irons together and tack welded them with his MIG welder, and then made sure that what is called the treble from one corner of the other. Real men know these words. If you don't know what the treble is, well, you're not a real man. It's just so simple. And it doesn't have anything to do with music. When you treble something, you find out if it's square. But only a real man would know that. So Dennis Adams did the treble, and because Dennis Adams is a real man with real tools, and everybody knows that real men own lots of tools. So Dennis just made and risked his life and limb making a metal stand to hold his new freezer. So it's complete now. And if you're not subscribed to Dennis Adams' channel, he has several hours of videos of him cutting the metal and then putting the metal together. And he had these corner clamps, which are really nice, Dennis. If you're done with those, I'd appreciate it if you sent those corner clamps to me. And they align as close to possible of 90 degrees, 2 pieces of metal, and in this case, angle iron. And Dennis, if you're done with those corner clamps, I don't have a set of those. I would appreciate you put them in a drop box and send them to I like those corner clamps. Nice. So Dennis knew how to treble out the frame, because a real man knows how to treble something, and treble is not a musical note. Otherwise, non-real men wouldn't know what treble is, because they wouldn't know how to use the ruler itself to make the cuts, to use the cutoff saw, to tack the stuff, because real men use tools. Everybody knows this, which always reminds me of that movie Ocean's 11, where Elliot Gould goes, everybody knows this. Nice Jewish accent. So I know how old they are. They're very old. Yeah. So yeah, I saw them. I paid attention to the detail. And on that note, real men, Dennis Adam knows that I'm telling the truth, as does Scott Del Fuego and several other people that are probably in the background. I want to thank my moderators for coming, and my friends, more so my friends, for helping me keep the channel clean of unwanted notations, but I already cleaned up a lot of that. So Dennis Adams knows I'm telling the truth, and Dennis Adams did something that's very rare. He worked from light till dark 30, and you people know I do that. And I just sent out certain people from light to dark 30, where we work in the light, and then we work until we pretty much can't see, and then we put the tools away after dark. So Dennis knows I'm telling the truth because he received a copy of the video Light Till Dark 30. But Dennis is a real man because, he was doing stuff in the dark, and then you could really see the cutoff saw making sparks, because real men are not afraid of the dark. They're not afraid to walk around at night. They're not afraid to go to the stores by themselves at night. They're not afraid to walk around by themselves at night anywhere. I mean, when I used to go to New York City alone to go out, I didn't go with 3 or 4 guys. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But most of the times I just jumped in the car or on the train and went out. I wasn't afraid to walk around at night or to go through East New York on the trains at night, because that's what real men do. They need to go from point A to point B, and real men do that. So non-real men, on the other hand, have to go out with groups of people in order to protect or possibly protect them. That's real men versus non-real men. So let's get on with, we have Scott Del Fuego. Jack, still live, baby. Jack. Now I'm jacked up. Thanks for stopping by, Jack. Simulacron, we did, oh my God. As I say, thank you for stopping by. I see Super Chat. Thank you, Jack. In honor of Simulacron, Dennis Adam, and Jack Thompson, and Scott Del Fuego, and Cervantes, Rojas Cervantes, and all the other real men, the real men of this world, the men that without the real men of this world, like Dennis Adam and his construction knowledge and his building knowledge and his tools, without real men in this world who own and operated tools, Jack Thompson, licensed contractor that goes out and bids on jobs, buys the materials, runs the man, does the work, and takes the profit or the loss on the job because he's got what it takes. He's got what I call the big boys. He's got the big boys. Like I have the big boys, like Trucker B, like Scott, like Peekaboo 2, that you will never know how these people's boys are, what they have done. Like Warren has the big boys. Warren, well now Warren is making Barry Jordan great again. Barry Jordan is the newest recipient of the beneficial system known as the Warren Hunt Giveaway Foundation. And I understand that Warren is going to give Barry Jordan 8,000 American dollars, baby. Get Barry Jordan back on his feet. I like that. See, unlike other people, I'm not jealous. In fact, when I talked to Warren about that yesterday morning, I said, that's a great idea. If you want to help out Barry, please do so. And him and I talked for a little while. He felt good yesterday, by the way, new update on Warren. I'm going to go get the pot. He felt very good yesterday, but last had to go back into the hospital. So, Jack Thompson. Wait, I got to get that pot, Jack. I'll be right back. The pots. The pots. We got the pots. So we had to get multiple pots because we made a lot today. I got to tell you, besides what on the screen, there has been, we did get a new Patreon member this week. So we're going to bang a pot for Dennis Adam, Jack Thompson, and Simulacron. Now, I don't know what Simulacron does. That's one of the few people that have been a member of my community for years. But I do know that Simulacron has an education that far supersedes that of the normal man, including myself. Based on his knowledge of certain topic matter and his ability to put it into words. Simulacron is a highly educated person. So we're going to give those three men and all other real men who have accomplishments in their life that they could be proud of, and not accomplishment as in singular event that happened 50 years ago. We're talking about real men that put their boys out on the line their whole life and never stopped trying to outdo or supersede their previous achievement. Lots of people like that. And then again, what we have as known as biblical slackers, people that have the opportunity to do great things and then do nothing with the gifts that God gave them. So let's give a big shout out to all real men, all men with higher educations. Higher education means you can spell and have great punctuation and the ability to articulate the words on the screen so that people will understand what it is that you said instead of having to decipher what they think you said. Higher education, baby. Shout out. And there is an exception. Some people have both. Jack Thompson is a contractor, and he has both a higher education when it comes to English literature and grammar, punctuation, spelling. He knows what a verb is. He knows what a consonant is. He knows where to put commas. I do not, but he does. We give a big shout out to people that have both what is called intellectia and construction knowledge. Then we give a big shout out to all real men who own real tools, because without tools, you would not have a place to sit down in your house and do blah, blah, blah on YouTube, baby. Real men own tools. Real men drive trucks. Real men accomplish a new goal or seek a new goal every day. Not what we call biblical slackers. Real men, shout out to real men. Real men don't waste God's given gifts to you as what is known as talents or attributes. Real men go out and make a new goal or achieve a new accomplishment or plan on achieving a new accomplishment from the day they're born till the day they die. They don't say, oh, I've done enough, I'm going to relax. Those are what the Bible calls slackers. Slackers. Biblical slackers. If you haven't achieved a new goal, if you haven't had a new goal recently, and I mean like in the last 10 years or 5 years where you decided to do something different and achieve another, the next level. You don't always have to be on that ladder of success, but you can always have a plan. If you have not done anything with your life, nothing whatsoever with your life, in a certain given period of time, the Bible, and I like some of the Bible and don't like some, the Bible calls you a slacker. The Bible says those who don't give God's given talents are slackers. So whether or not you want to believe in God, the statement holds true. A slacker is a slacker and a non-slacker is an achiever. Some of them are overachievers. Some of them own tools. Some of them just educate people with knowledge. But achievers come in all shapes and sizes. But most achievers have tools. And a tool could be the literary understanding of the English language to use as a tool to educate other people. That's a tool. That's a teacher. Simulacron is such a teacher. Jack Thompson could be such a teacher, and Scott Del Fuego certainly represents such a teacher. Dennis Adams, he's just a regular guy who owns a lot of tools and is a real man because of his construction ability. So if you're not registered on Dennis Adams' channel, please do so. because Dennis Adams shows you what a man my age and our genre of what a real man can still accomplish at any age. There's no limit to what a man can accomplish. There's nothing that says at the age of 55 you can become a worthless sponge off society. There's nothing that says you have to become a worthless. There's nothing that says you can't continue to have goals and achievements, at least the ability to want those goals. And there's nothing that says at the age of 55 years old you can become a sponge and it's okay. The Bible says to always have a higher goal or achievement in mind. Says it in red letters. Right next to, it is better to give to Michael Fazio than anybody else. Right? So Jesus said those words. Jesus said. So Jesus is over there, and I can't get to Jesus right now. Jack Thompson with the big super chat. Salamat. Okay, so and also my friends know about tools. And looks like Simulacron has an understanding of tools, because Harbor Freight is exactly that, Simulacron. I bought some tools from Harbor Freight. They were called WEN tools, back in probably before I graduated high school, 72 or 73. And they were like the cheapest grade of tool I ever saw in my entire life, but that's all I could afford when I was in high school, and they actually lasted quite a few years. But they do have, and when I say quite a few years, I'm talking about my Wen grinder buffer probably lasted 20 years, and I might have paid $19 for it. So it is a roll of the dice. They do have some products that are very cheap that work. And then I guess now with China taking over the world's tools manufacturing, they have some products that are rejects in with batches of tools that are good. And we got to get to Mr. Trump soon, too. Pedro Rojas Cervantes. That would be cool if I came with the actual torpedoes. Okay, so I missed that comment. Back in my late teens, early 20s, I was thinking about buying surplus PT boat. Ooh, whoa. And convert it to a live liveaboard. Sir, Pedro, you don't want a PT boat. You do not want an old, not a plywood PT boat. You do not. I've been inside those. There are more. You could never stop working on a PT boat for the rest of your life. Maintenance. Oh, Jack Thompson hits me hard again, hitting me hard. I should probably bang a pot because we made a lot. And what I made on YouTube is nothing compared to what Barry Jordan made. Barry Jordan is guaranteed $8,000 this week, and most generous Warren Hunt. So we give a big shout out to Barry Jordan, who Warren just said this morning he sent another $3,000 towards the $8,000. Jack Thompson, a man who both owns tools, knows how to use tools, runs construction companies, has the ability to interpolate and speak the English language from a proper grammatical point of view, and my friend who doesn't answer the phone, LL. Jack, I think you have my number blocked, but that's okay because you're here and I'm here and you're there, and I like it like that. So thanks for stopping by. Dennis Adams, those corner clamps are 40 years old. Jack Scott Del Fuego says, I want to buy a multi-process welder. Millers are expensive, though maybe a Harbor Freight one. Ooh. Yeah, you know, in the Philippines, we can get a 225 amp MIG-TIG, what we call buzz box, B-U-Z-Z, buzz box, for about, believe it or not, under $400. That's with but it doesn't come with the gas, the argon tank. You have to buy that separate. And the argon tanks here are, you don't buy them, you rent them. $120, I think a small argon tank is. In America, I don't know how that works. Usually you buy a tank and then you can have it filled or just exchange it for another tank. So here they're about $300 to $400 for a MIG-TIG gas welder. Dennis Adams would, you know what, Scott? Go to Dennis Adams' channel and ask Dennis Adams what he was using, because he had what you want, and ask him where he got it and how much he paid for it. He could probably tell you more about that than I could, because I use arc welding because I don't want to. Well, first of all, the wire, the rolls of wire here are just too expensive. Even though it's faster and you don't have to take the slag off the welding itself, it's so much more expensive to do wire welding than stick welding. And I just didn't want to have an extra tank laying around. I just didn't buy one. You know what? Maybe I should have, but I didn't want to invest $500 into a welder. I spent about $220 and does whatever I needed to do. So I would suggest you get in touch with Dennis Adams. He has what you want. Buying a PT boat, Pedro? No. I've been in a PT boat, and there was a PT boat in Key West in 1995 when I got there. It was on a pier, just parked at the pier. You could just go on and off any time of the day or night. It wasn't guarded or anything like that. Somebody owned it as a private personal possession. There was so much. I walked in, I went down into the bilge. First of all, you could smell the batteries, which is not a good thing. Just like when you're in a sailboat, you could smell those damn batteries, those old sailboats. Number two, there was so much maintenance that, let's say I bought it in 1995 and decided to fix it up with a friend of mine, I might be done next year, 25 years later. So you don't want to own a PT boat. Still live, Simulacron, Scott Del Fuego. Simulacron has knowledge of tools. And thank you again for the super chat. If it came with torpedoes, says DNC. Again, I'm going to make this perfectly clear. I will never divulge. Warren can attest to this. I have video of myself and someone else who knew I made the video and said to me, please don't ever show that on YouTube. And I never did. And never showed his picture or his wife's picture or anybody's picture. But I have the video of myself and a friend of mine associating with that person and his wife. Okay, so I keep my word about not posting things. When I say that I know who DNC is to some small degree, and I know who Flying Circus is to some small degree, and that they are two different people, there is no amount of money that you could ever wager me to get me to show you who either one is or tell you who either one is. There's no amount of money, but they are two different people. And for those people out there making up stories, lies, deceits, and half-truths that they are the same person, that's because of your low-level ability to search the internet for the truth. And that was very diplomatic, because low-level ability doesn't even begin to touch on that subject matter. I was learning TIG and MIG. My friend teacher died of cancer, never ventilated, only wore eye protection. Yep, you got it. Well, a lot of welders, I know welders that have died of cancer, and I know welders that smoke cigarettes while they're burning 1/4-inch rods all day long and nothing happened to them. So let's see what cancer is a hit and miss thing. If we could direct it, that would be pretty cool. Simulacron, yeah, I know. I've heard good stuff about Vulcan welders, and frankly, I am not a pro. I can just justify a Miller or Hobart multi-process. Okay, so you guys are talking about welders, and I'll let you at it. Snap-on. Scott the Flavor. I like my Snap-on. It has 100% duty cycle. Now, for a real man would know what 100% duty cycle is. I'll explain it to you quickly. Welders' motors have a duty cycle, and that means they can give you 100% of the rated capacity. Let's say the capacity is 200 amps. They can give you 100%, and it has a duty cycle of 60%. They can give you 100% power for 60% of an hour, and then it has to cool down. Now, Dennis, or anybody else out there, if you want to increase the duty cycle of a welder by 10, 20, or even 30%, I'll tell you how to do that. And not a lot of people are going to believe it, but it's true. Doesn't matter what you believe. I know it to be true. I have a piece of junk welder that I don't think I paid $220 for it, with cables that melted within days because they were just junk cables. And they were only 6 feet long. And by the time I had burned 10 pounds of rod, the handles just melted off the copper wire. The copper was just garbage. Anyway, so if you want to increase the duty cycle of a motor or a welder, let's say you're doing a job and you really need that 100% or 80% of duty cycle, take a fan, a regular floor fan, and put it into the intake of each welder. Inside the welder has a fan inside the welder. Now, the fan inside my welder is about 7 inches in diameter, and it's just a little plastic fan. It'll give me 100% power for about, it probably has a 40% duty cycle. And then you can start to smell the windings, the field melting. However, if you put a heavy-duty floor fan in front of it, you can pretty much maintain 100% duty cycle for most of an hour. At which point, I'm talking about one stick after the other, 1/8 inch. 1/8 inch, 1.25 inches, 125 hundredths of an inch. So my duty cycle was about 28 to 30%. Half an hour, the machine was overheating, and then you have to leave it running with the fan on for another hour and a half to cool it off to start again. But if you put a heavy-duty fan in front of the vent, and it doesn't have to be a big fan, it just could be a high-volume 12 or 13-inch fan, you can raise the duty cycle up to 20%, 30% higher than what it's rated for. Just a piece of information that only a real man would know. So let's move on to the next subject. We got to get to Mr. Trump, because I believe Mr. Trump is a first-class narcissist. I believe that. All right, so Jack Thompson has been in radio silence lately, but in the back. I know that, Jack. I know that. Thank you, Jack. There's only one fully restored operational. Okay, Pedro has given us some information. There's only one fully restored operational PT boat in existence. Not sure about the Vietnam era. That I wouldn't know. Jack Thompson, Warren H. making Bama fat again. God bless Bama. He's such a harmless soul, Bama is. Why would anybody be upset that Warren has given Bama money? I have no. When Warren told me he was going to give Bama money, I said, that's nice. That's really nice. I think that's pretty cool. I would really like to see Warren have control over the money, and that hopefully Bama will do the right thing with the money. But if Warren wants to give Bama $8,000, I think that's a great thing, man. I hope Bama uses it for his new girlfriend and, take care of her child and fix the place up a little bit. I think that would be great I think that's great that Warren gives away his money. I think that's just wonderful, because Warren has too much and so many people have too little. It's like a balance. So if Bama gets a little and I get a little and somebody else gets a little, freaking Reddit. I'm not subscribed to Reddit. I've unsubscribed to Idiot. And now they have aliens come to Earth. One of them asks you, hey, you do the thing, the thing you humans do. What is the thing? I'm not subscribed to Reddit. I've blocked them and it still pops up on my screen. Talking about aliens. I got to tell you. So I'm explaining to somebody about the bottom of the flat Earth. And he knows about my bottom of the flat Earth concept, and he knows that I believe the Earth is flat. So now this is a funny story. Okay, and this is a true story, and I spent 90 plus minutes on the phone with this person yesterday. So here we go. I'm on the phone, and we were talking about various different things. He was trying to explain to me the difference of computer programs for editing. It started out something very simple, how to edit, what you needed to edit, the power you needed to edit. And I ended up talking about, he goes, why do you want such a powerful computer? I said, because a lot of my videos are 2 or 3 hours, and to render them, it just freezes up my computer. So he suggested a certain amount of power in Windows or a MacBook. I don't know anything about MacBook. So if somebody out there knows about MacBooks and you want to give me some information about that, I would appreciate it. I'm willing to read about it, but I'm probably never going to buy a MacBook, because what I did do is I want an Asus Pro Duo i9 with 1 terabyte, 32 gigs of RAM, etc., because there's an Asus dealer, repair center, warranty repair center in Tagbilaran City, just an hour from my house. But there is no MacBook repair center. And he explained to me, Macs don't break down, they don't get viruses. I got all of that. But if it does break down, it has to go to Cebu. And if there's a lockdown, it can't go to Cebu. That means I'm back to no computer. Digressing back to the story. Then we're going to get to Trump being a narcissist, because narcissists have certain personality traits that I believe Trump has. So he's going, Mike, I've heard your videos about the Earth being flat. No matter what physics says, physics doesn't lie. The physics of water doesn't lie. The physics of water in and of itself, that one non-arguable fact that water seeks its own level when undisturbed, means the Earth is flat. But moving past that, he said, I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I do believe in aliens. He goes, those are real. And I says, anything else you want to divulge? He goes, yeah. He didn't believe that the Jabba Dabba Do was anything that the people of this planet or flat Earth needed. He is 100% sure that the Jabba Dabba Do is more detrimental to the world's population than it will be beneficial. And now I'm going to talk about this piece of garbage, The Gates of Hell, where he made a video saying that the world's population is going to go up to 9 billion people. And if we do a really good job with the Jabba Dabba Do, we can reduce that number by 10 or 15%. Now, he didn't say reduce the newborn members of society by 10 or 15%. He said reduce the amount of people per se by 10 or 15%. So 10 or 15% of 9 billion is almost 1 billion people. So with the Jabba Dabba Do all by itself, without all the other accoutrements such as lead in the water, fog in the sky. Remember, they want you dead. Just remember those words. Without all those other accoutrements that go along with the New World Order, the gates of hell said we can reduce the population by 10 or 15%. So my friend of a long time, and my good friend of a long time, says, I don't believe in the flat earth, but I do believe in aliens. So we had a laugh over that. And he explained why. And I agree with him on the other two topics. And he disagrees with me about the earth being flat. And I do have the ability to prove it to people that are open-minded. And it doesn't matter to me whether you believe it's flat or not. Nothing is going to change the fact that physics states that a body at rest or undisturbed fluid body at rest remains horizontal from all directions from the point that you are viewing the fluid at. So if you're here and you're in the middle of the ocean, in every direction, the ocean goes out on a horizontal plane, Plane. That's why they call planes planes, because they fly straight and level. They don't drop their nose every 15 seconds to follow the curvature of a mislabeled ball Earth. The Earth is not a ball, and it is not spinning. In any event, so Jack Thompson, does he do this again? Is he that? No. Thank you. Okay, Jack, I thought you did it again. He did it again. He did it. Jack Thompson. We have another story. He did it again. He can't stop. Jack Thompson is relentless when it comes to Milwaukee Tools. He is now mad at Dennis for advertising Milwaukee Tools on Fazio's channel because Dennis knows how great Milwaukee Tools are. And so does Jack. But Jack has, I'm gonna disclose a very piece of secretive information about Jack that no one knows except me. And I'm sure that Jack will be okay with this because Jack is my friend, even though he doesn't answer the phone, even though I'm blocked. He's incognito. His phone is incognito. And I'm going to tell you a sad story about my first girlfriend. So Jack, Dennis loves Milwaukee Tools. Scott knows Milwaukee Tools are great. Because Scott's a real man. Dennis is a real man. Simulacron probably knows they're real tools and they're real good tools. And because he's probably a real man too. And he knows about Harbor Freight. I mean, anybody that knows about Harbor Freight is a real man. So Harbor Freight, in case you don't know, they buy blocks of tools that may or may not have defects in them, and they sell them at basically at cost of what a retailer store would have. But anyway, the saddest story ever heard. I could tell you another saddest story about $5, but Jack Thompson, his friend, not his friend anymore, his ex-friend, comes over to his house one night, and the guy was selling swag Milwaukee Tools. So Jack bought, I think, a skill saw for $30. And the guy was, just regular guy in the 1980s. He got high, drank too much, smoked too many cigarettes. And Jack gave him the $30 for the tool. And the guy went out and bought a lotto ticket with part of that money and won millions of dollars. And didn't give Jack any. Had Jack not bought the Milwaukee Tools from the guy for $30, the guy would not have won the lotto. And to this day, The guy never gave Jack a dime, even though he built himself up an empire, became more successful, more and more successful. I don't blame Jack about that. The guy should have gave him something. Now, I also ended a friendship. I was 2002, so how much? 2000? I was about 47 years old. I ended a friendship over me giving somebody money and them winning a lot of money. He borrowed the money from me. I told him, you gotta curb your habits. You know, you just have to curb some of those bad habits that you have. And I said, look, if we win, this was the agreement. If we win, that you'll split the money with me. But you gotta stop, because I have money and you don't, and because you pissed all of yours away. So I gave him $300. And we were on a gambling casino boat, and he won a lot of money. And he didn't give me any of the money. I said, what about my end? He goes, oh, I'll buy you lunch tomorrow. No, what you'll do is you'll pack tomorrow. You'll pack. I've had enough of your nonsense. Just give me the money that you owe me when you have it, and you'll pack. The agreement was different. Now, I didn't lend him the whole $300 all at that one time. I was lending him 50, 100, you know, and he just kept losing. But then when he won, he didn't want to give me back. He didn't want to split the money with me. He goes, I'll buy you lunch tomorrow. Because he was drinking, and he forgot what he said, how convenient. So when we got home, the next day he packed up, left a mess like you wouldn't believe, which is typical. I knew this man since I was 6 years old. He stayed with me when I was 14. When they had moved to California. He left my room. I gave him my room. It was a pigsty. He stayed with me in 1981 with his wife and children. He left the room a pigsty. When he left my house in Key Largo, he left the room a pig. I mean, the entire, we're talking about, he didn't even take the sheets off the bed. Pizza on the table, sauce and cheese all over the floor because his kid must have grabbed the plate, and garbage all over them. He threw the garbage at the refrigerator. Oh man, that guy over money that they won and didn't keep their word. I would be upset about that too, Jack. And I didn't. If anybody heard that story about Jack Thompson's friend becoming a millionaire because Jack bought some swag Milwaukee tools, don't ever mention to Jack that story again, because it's very touchy on that subject. Just try not to mention it. Keep it in the back of your head in case you need it one day. And let's go to the next Thompson. The next Thompson comment. They wouldn't. Jack has a reason. Jack has a reason he wasn't online. They wouldn't allow to have a phone in jail. Oh, God. Jail to Jack is $139 hotel room, partying it up with the locals. That's jail to Jack. Scott is talking to Pedro. Pedro is a long-term subscriber and a very intelligent guy. So I'll let you guys have your comment. Oh, I'm glad that you guys are conversing back and forth. I rely on buddies to do MIG for me when needed. I know my limits. You know, it is the most difficult part of MIG or TIG is just getting the stick started. It's not that complicated. It gets complicated when you're welding aluminum, though, because aluminum heats up way faster than steel. So you have a foot pedal, and you'll get it tacked, and you'll start out at 50 or 60% power. But as you move the bead forward, the aluminum heats up, you need less power. So you have to learn to take your foot off the pedal. A real man would know this, but not that Sid McLaren isn't a real man. He just doesn't learn. But it's not easy to weld MIG or TIG without understanding that it's no longer, it's a question of eye, hand, and foot coordination to take your foot off the power as you move forward. And that the same thing is done with a stick, where you start the stick at almost a 90 degree and then you move it to a 45 or a 30 degree forward. That's changing the amount of heat for the same amount of amperage. But only a real man would know that. And real men use tools. Only fools. Oh, now here is wordsmithing in brevity. Brevity is a word that means shortened. Brevity is a word that means straight and to the point. Only fools downgrade tools. Oh, so now there is a pun in there, and truth and knowledge from the wordsmith. Only fools downgrade. What would this world be? You have people out there, not well, I mean, you know, when men were men, you know what I'm talking about. You have people out there that believe that people that think other people that own tools doesn't elevate them to the next level of humanity. Think about this. Tools are an actual methodology in which civilization was built upon and with. Without tools, let me give you an example. Without tools, you wouldn't have a computer because there would be no machines to build the computer, but more importantly, there would be no buildings to put the machines in to build the computers, because there would be no people with tools to build the buildings. And without the tools, you couldn't build the buildings that put the computers in, that give you the computer that gives you the ability to lie, cheat, steal, defraud, defame, and slander people on the internet. Without tools, you wouldn't have that ability. So if a person is on the internet, it's because men like me, Scott, Simlicon, Dennis, Jack, Warren, because we have tools, and people like us built the buildings that the computers were built in to give you the ability to do sadistic crap on the internet. Because, like Trump, there are a lot of people out there who have tendencies to lie, cheat, and steal. And Trump does that better than anybody. Therefore, he became president. So let me get to the end of the comments, and let's get on. We're going to read from a page called What is a Narcissist? Oh my God, Chris Alexander, Knights to King 4. I remember you. He's back. He's back. Chris Alexander, a long-term member of my Patreon account, is back. But first, I'm going to read these comments. I bought my welder on eBay used. Total with freight and shipping cost me $1,300. This is a real welder. It came with TIG setup, but no tanks. Bought 2 tanks for $150 each. Okay, that's about right. And it's heavy, made with copper, not aluminum. Okay, so my welder was a Miller 300 with a 22 horsepower gasoline engine. And it had MIG and TIG accessories, and I paid $120 for the small tank. So LaRue Segrest is here, Jack Thompson and LaRue Segrest, welcome. If you're a religious person, I want you to go to LaRue Segrest's page and talk God with LaRue, because she does that religiously. No pun intended. LaRue is a very religious person in the Philippines, which is a very religious country to some degree, except for professionals. The professional people, they believe in God. And I will tell you that I've seen just about every head of every crime family in New York City in church. for one reason or another, wedding, a funeral, or just regular Sunday Mass. And they all believe in God, but only for those few hours that they were in church. After that, everything flies out the window. All that God stuff, well, it's God's will. It was God's will. So God is a very contemporary concept, or a very fleeting concept when, for instance, you get involved with, let's say, Joe DeCandia. Joe DeCandia owned 100 pizzerias, seafood, Lenny's seafood, 100 Lenny's pizzerias, or 51% of about 100 Lenny's pizzerias, scattered throughout the tri-state area and in Florida. He also owned, I think, 23 Lenny's clam bars and 7 or 8 Tony Romas. And he went to church. Oh, God, he went to church. He would go to church whenever possible. And he had Cosmos and Damien, no matter what store he owned, you still go to Lenny's Clam Bar on Cross Bay Boulevard and see Cosmos and Damien, the saints. And I don't know what they're saints of, but if they have anything to do with saints, it's probably a deep, dark saint that hides in a fiery ball of hell. Because Joe was the most sanctimonious person I ever met in my entire life. But Joe believed in God, and he gave untold hundreds of thousands of dollars to the church in return for the stuff he did outside the boundaries of normalcy, which we won't get into. Joe died. Oh, by the way, Joe died when he was worth well over $100 million, probably closer to $200 million. He was making $50,000 a day when he died, and he died at the age of 49 years old. And he would screw you for $1 if he could. That's just the kind of guy Joe was. Prayed to God every day, prayed to Cosmos and Damien, went to church, but he would screw you. He would screw you for $1, and he did so every day of his entire life to every waitress and waiter that worked for him. Waiters and waitresses would get $1 per hour. This is going back into the 70s and 80s. And even though he was making 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or 90 or $100,000 a day, he paid his waitresses $1 an hour. And he took tax out of that. So, and he believed in God. And he said, if anybody wants to be successful like me, they could work 16 hours a day like me, like him. And he did work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. He came to America with nothing. So he became worth a few $100 million. But he was as cheap got. He was the most unrealistic person I ever met. And I lived with that man day and night in the restaurant business from the time I was 17 till I was 21. And he screwed me for $50. A man that was making $50,000 to $100,000 a day screwed me for $50. So I never talked to him again. And I had worked for him for 3.5 years and never said it. I didn't go to his restaurants at all. And if I saw him on the street, I would say hi, and he would say hi back. And that was the end of our conversation. But this is a man I worked side by side with for hundreds, if not thousands of hours, doing questionable things in the middle of the night, unloading trucks from Polio ricotta cheese, the Polio Parmesan cheese, the Polio mozzarella, shrimp that would come in 5-pound boxes with no names on it. It's called swag. And we would unload entire trucks would back up to buildings. And that's all we did all night. All day we worked, and all night we unloaded trucks. Shrimp, cheese, sauce, veal, chicken. No, how much did it weigh? No point of origin, no point of destination. And that's the way the 1970s were. 1973, I started working for Joe, and in 1977, I stopped. So church has nothing to do with reality when it comes to people's personal opinions. No, God is a very convenient thing. As people find out that, God is always not good, and like you get a guy like the head of the Gambino crime family. He went to church all the time. Oh God, he was very religious man. Gave tithes to the church, and the head of the Gambino crime family, the head of the Colombo crime family, the head of the Lucchese crime family, all three of those families would be in the same church in the front 5 or 6 rows. And they got along perfectly with one another. But outside the church, they did not get along so well. In fact, even if you just talked to one or the other two would be mad at you. So Snap-on tools used to be junk. Now they are great. Same as Japan used to export. I don't know. LaRue, I haven't bought a new Snap-on tool because all my old Blue Points and Snap-ons still work fine. LaRue, hi to you, dear friend. Big heart, generous and kind, dear friend of mine, Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson smashed the like button for my host, Michael. Thank you, LaRue. Salamat. Thank you very much for stopping by, LaRue. Now we're gonna get to Trump because we're down to the last 2 comments. Chris Alexander, he got a chessboard in his hand. Super chat. Thank you for stopping by, Chris. Chris has been a friend of mine 5 years, maybe more, and he was a long-term Patreon member. So thank you for that, Chris. I believe when a tear drops in Brooklyn, falls, a tree grows in the Bronx. Hello, Michael Fazio. I think you're right about that, Chris. I think you're absolutely right. When a tear drops in Brooklyn, a tree grows in the Bronx. DA, baby. Trump, we are about to abuse you proper. So, and here we go. We're going into the Trump abuse mode. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask a question, and then we're going to see if Mr. Trump associates to this question. First question is, I'm going to abuse Trump here. Why didn't Trump allow the use of non-lethal sound cannons to stop the riots that cost basically nothing but a little bit of electricity to run, that's run off the diesel engine of the truck? Why didn't he use a sound cannon to disperse thousands, but instead spent millions on tear gas and riot gear? Why? Because in my opinion, Trump is a piece of garbage. Two-faced, duplistic nature, personality, liar, deceiver, and bearer of bullshit. That's my opinion about Trump. Trump could have used non-lethal, military-grade microwave antennas to disperse thousands of people with no injuries other than where your skin feels like it's a little bit hot or very hot. No eye sockets, nobody being blown out, nobody's brains being blown out by a tear gas grenade hitting them in the temple and killing them instantly. Their eye sockets, their teeth, their noses, their throats, none of that would have happened had Trump used non-lethal sound cannons. But wouldn't have spent all that money on tens of millions of dollars on riot gear, tear gas grenades, tear gas guns, putting out fires, repairs of window, billions and billions of dollars of damage would have been prevented if Trump would have just said, well, we have these sound cannons located in Arizona. Let's just bring one or two over to Portland, Oregon, or Seattle and stop the riots like this. One in 15 seconds, you can repel 1,000 people before they even walk down the street. But Trump is a piece of garbage. And, of course, so is his rival. Just Trump is less of a piece of garbage. Trump is a piece of garbage that might weigh 220 pounds, and his rival is a piece of garbage that weighs about 200 pounds. They're both garbage. They're both lying, low-life political animals, both of them, equally so. Trump asked for $800 or $1 trillion for the military, and he got, or for the budget that most of it's going to the military, and he got $852 billion, of which 75% is going to go to military funds to fund more wars. When and then he said he was going to build a wall. This is the point of Trump is a freaking liar. Freeeeking, freaking liar. Now, I know this gets Jack Thompson upset, so Jack, don't listen to what I'm about to say. He's a freaking liar. So is Biden, but Trump is a bigger freaking liar because he has more power. So Trump is a freaking liar, and Biden is just a freaking liar. But Biden is catching up quick. So Trump said he was going to build a wall, and he was going to build a beautiful wall like the Great Wall of China. He did not build that wall. He never built it. He said he was going to deport more illegal immigrants, and he used the word illegal immigrants. He used the word illegal immigrants. He was going to deport more than Obama. He didn't do that either. In Trump's third term, Trump deported 109,000 immigrants. Hard for me to say that word. In Obama's third term of his presidency, he deported 389,000 immigrants. Now, I have that article. So I already posted Trump's border wall. I'm going to post the name of this article. I'm going to show you the article. Trump campaigns on border wall progress. There's not much of it. I'll read it. Only takes a minute. June 23rd, 2020, President Trump, whose plans to campaign on a booming economy were ruined by the coronavirus. Oh my God, the coronavirus stopped the wall from being built. Oh my God. Traveled Tuesday to the southern edge of Arizona to highlight completion of more than 200 miles, not 500 miles, of powerful border wall with Mexico. He didn't mention the fine print. Nearly all 216 miles built since Trump took office replaced outdated or dilapidated fencing. Here's the key here, folks. Only 3 miles of new border wall system have been constructed in locations where barriers previously did not exist. Only 3 miles of new border wall. So let's get you the name of that article. Warren H., the generous one, is here. Wait, Warren, just give me a moment. Let me post the article. Let me post one more thing from the article. Oh, boy, I lost the article. I have two more things. I have to post the link, and I have to post this sentence right here. Only 3 miles of border wall were built. Oh boy, I gotta cut something out of there, and I need to. Oh boy, which word do I remove? I removed that word. Only 3 new miles of border wall were built since Trump took office. And here's the link to the article. Now, you people that don't believe what I say, I mean, I can only get the information that I give you from reading. I typically, I'll read 5 or 6 different articles. But a lot of the articles that I go after, they don't exist anymore. They've been scrubbed from the internet. So here is the link. And then we're going to talk about the generous one, Warren H., who is making Barry Jordan great again. Yes, sir. Barry Jordan is going to be great again thanks to Warren Hunt, who is here. So we have some amenities being passed back and forth amongst friends. Okay, Scott's looking to buy a new pickup truck. I'm only here for the attention, apparently. Yeah, baby. So Warren H. is going to we have to stop on Trump and get to the important matters. So Warren H., as you well know, and who I agree with, is going to make Barry Jordan great again. Because there's a couple of things that you should know about Barry Jordan. First of all, me personally, never had a problem with Barry Jordan. He doesn't interfere with my life whatsoever. In fact, for all the years that I know of Barry Jordan, I think I've watched. If I went on the outside of how much videos I've watched of Barry Jordan, I would say I've watched 90 minutes of Barry Jordan videos in the last however long he's been on. I never one time ever found anything worthy of mentioning about Barry Jordan's video in a negative way. Barry Jordan works with what he has, and he doesn't interfere with anybody else's life. He doesn't go to bars and start fights, which is something Warren pointed out to me yesterday. Which, when I've seen him in the bar, he was never upset about anything. He doesn't really talk derogatory about anybody unless someone talks derogatory about him. He's never mentioned my name that I know of, nor have I mentioned his name, except in that I wish him the best of luck. I've never said anything negative about Barry, and I don't ever plan on saying anything negative about Barry. But the fact that Warren has taken Barry under his wing, put him in the cradle, so to speak, the cradle of generosity, the Warren Hunt Benefit Society, the society of people that in need, that Warren is helping Barry Jordan become great again. Yeah, we're going to give Warren Hunt a Libre bang a pot. Warren Hunt, by the use of the excess funds in the Warren Hunt Foundation, which I will soon work on making this number so high that it's hard to pronounce with all the zeros. I will soon try to bring it down to a reasonable number. You know that. Everybody knows that. Ready? Making Barry Jordan great again. Barry has a friend named Warren Hunt. Anybody that doesn't agree with Warren Hunt is a small-minded, uneducated individual. Warren Hunt's money is his to do with what he pleases, and he pleases to give it away to those in need. And today's beneficiary is Barry Jordan. Making Barry Jordan great again should be the title of my next live stream. And this is what Barry Jordan looks like today, after getting the notification that Warren is sending him that money in segments of $3,000 today, and sent him the routing numbers and stuff for the money, and he's going to give him the additional $5,000, making Barry Jordan great again, baby. Yeah, baby. Gotta like that. Barry Jordan has never, that to my knowledge, I don't know of Barry Jordan ever critiquing anybody else. I mean, if I'm wrong, correct me. Maybe. Scott Del Fuego. Wordsmithing, questioning the validity of making Barry Jordan great again. Making Barry eat again. Yeah, baby. That's probably true too. But you know, Barry, if someone wants to donate to Barry Jordan, he has needs like everybody else. God bless Barry Jordan. God bless Barry Jordan. I like Barry. I actually, he's a survivor. And I like that about him. Warren, Barry needs whatever help he can get. So this is a conversation that Warren and I had yesterday, and I agree with Warren. As soon as Warren told me he gave Barry Jordan money, I said, that was very nice. Why would I care if Warren gives his money to Barry Jordan? Not stopping the total amount of monies that Warren gives away by any means. Nothing can stop that. So why would I care if he gave Barry Jordan? I know people that he's offered money to that they refused the money. I know people like that. Barry needs whatever help he can get, and he has never been rude to me, so I'm happy to help him out. I agree. Sounds like a flagship's belt. Remember those old flagships? Now they don't do that anymore. Now they have electronic. Thank you, Pedro. Everyone on YouTube should take a lesson from Open Heart of Warren H. It's a lesson in humility and humanity to see a man that truly treats others as he wants to be treated. A true good man. Now Warren is a man who has never, not one time initiated someone to hate him, but he's not going to stand by and let somebody throw hate at him without bouncing it back. So Warren is a better man than most people on YouTube. Certainly a large percentage of YouTube's bloggers, if you want to call them that. Warren was minding his own business, never bothering anybody, but Warren was attacked. And Warren retaliated. And they were going to just give Warren praise for his generosity. Make Barry Jordan great again. And as Scott Del Fuego pointed out, make Barry Jordan eat again. Yeah, baby. And hopefully his girlfriend and the child will benefit from the generosity of Warren H. Warren is thanking Michael. I am looking at starting a charity foundation to use my money when I pass away. I don't want the government getting 44 billion when a charity can use it. That's 44 billion pesos, not dollars. I like to treat all the way I want to be treated. I know that. We're getting back to Trump. We're going to find out if Trump is a narcissist but let's get rid of that article. I also want to tell you about the Jabba Dabba Doo. This is important. This is what happened in Australia. And because Warren is here, I'm going to give you the link to this article. You're not going to like what this article says or what it talks about. Used its subjects, I think that's what they call them, subjects, as guinea pigs and pretty much destroyed the lives of 400 troops with not a mandatory, but a voluntary vaccination program that if they didn't take, they would have been washed out of the service. These were lifers in the service. So here is the name of the article: Aussie troops used as Jabba Dabba Do guinea pigs. And it's by one of my long-term subscribers, Bill, who I don't really go to his channel much, and he doesn't come to my channel much. He may be a watcher. I don't know. But Bill and I stopped mentioning each other on our videos years ago, but Bill still puts out some cool videos. So here's the name, Aussie Troops. Well, let's get the link up there too with that, so that you guys can. This is true now. They gave the Australian troops a certain amount of Jabba Dabba Doos, okay? And they all came down with all kinds of horrible mental problems. But when they got to the hospitals in the service, they said, oh, this is normal PTSD. But it amounted to most of them committing suicide or going crazy or being in halfway houses even after they got out of the service. So they used the Australian troops as guinea pigs. Now, if you don't think that Trump is going to do the same thing with you people in America, because I don't think it's going to happen here in the Philippines for a couple of reasons, but I don't think the Philippines has the money to vaccinate everybody. I have been reading about that, but Trump is not telling you the truth about the Jabba Dabba Do. He's not telling you the truth about that. And Trump, let me tell you another lie that people think. Now, I know that I don't like Trump and I don't like any politician, but that's besides the point. He's a freaking liar, a deceptive liar. Like Biden said, I didn't accept any money from foreign agencies. But that's a legal jargon, technicality. I didn't take money from China, but China gave money to my son and my son gave me money. It's all bullshit. But Trump is doing it a different way. Trump says, we're going to get everybody vaccinated. We're going to give everybody the Jabba Dabba Do. We're going to get them onto a program so they'll never be sick again. Well, the program is not 1 or 2 Jabba Dabba Doos, baby. It's 3 within the first year minimum. And then anytime they have a Jabba Dabba Do that they think is going to be beneficial, you have to come in for the Jabba Dabba Do. Otherwise, there's no travel, no bank accounts, no credit cards, no buying food. You'll be able to stay in your house. Or what they're doing, and I'm telling you they're doing this, they are going to make it mandatory if you don't take the Jabba Dabba Do that you are detained in a detention facility until you do. And if you do get detained in a detention facility after a few months, if you refuse to take the Jabba Dabba Do, you lose all your personal assets. So if you were worth $100 million and you get put in a detention facility and you refuse to take the Jabba Dabba Do, you lose your house, your car, your boat, your business, your motorcycles, your gold, your jewelry, and your bank accounts. You lose it all until you take the Jabba Dabba Do, but you don't get any of that back. It's non-refundable. The big problem with the article that I read last week is who gets the assets. I don't know if I still have that article up. Let me look for that. Hold on. I'm looking. This guy we don't need anymore. We shit-canned him this morning. Jimmy's prophecy on Trump. We don't get rid of that one. Do the border wall. We're getting rid of the border wall. Oh, okay. Let me give you the link because I didn't give it to you on the. Okay, I did give you.
So the consensus of opinion is people in this nice house. I would say that people.
What the hell video was that? That was that bullshit. That was Flying Circus. Lion Circus is a great man. Trump campaigns on border wall. There's not much of it. I gave you that. I'm just trying to get rid of some links up here. So we have what is a narcissist? We have that link up, baby. Look at this. We also have for next week's show, we're going to do what is a psychopath. But this show, we're going to do what is a narcissistic supply. That's this link here. Next week's show, what is a psychopath? This week's show, not this one. What is a narcissist? Narcissistic supply. We're going to be right in the narcissistic supply reading, and we're going to test my reading skills right there. Narcissistic supply. Is Trump a narcissist? And then you can determine yes or no. Trump is a narcissist. No other names accepted. Thank you. And let's go back to the live stream so we can get what we got. Scott. Barry Jordan. Okay. Yes, Michael. I have never seen him be nasty to anyone without huge provocation. Even then, meaningful replies, not much ad hominem attacks. He really is an example and better than most I've met. That's true. I've never seen him upset. Now, like I said, I have a total of viewing Barry Jordan for 90 minutes, but I have a total of him of 90 minutes and where he was upset with people, but never got rambunctious. You know what the problem with people that get a little bit upset is? That the people that are cowards in this world, they are afraid to get upset because they're afraid to get put in their place. That's what the big problem is. So Barry Jordan, I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I think about Barry Jordan, and I don't know Barry Jordan, but even though he doesn't get all kinds of rambunctious and upset, I believe that Barry Jordan has the ability to get upset, but I would think that it would be better that you didn't see that in person. Now, I could be wrong. I've been wrong about other people who I thought were tough guys, and they weren't tough guys at all. In fact, they were nothing when it came to the actual facts of real life tough guys. I've watched people all throughout my growing up years. I remember my friend Rudy, we were 14. He was, oh God, he could beat up almost anybody, including a guy named Eddie Schweiker. And he did. And he thought he was the cat's ass, Rudy did. Until he met Tommy Moranis. So Tommy Moranis, this is in, it was either 7th or 8th grade, but Rudy was a tough guy. He was a big guy too. Became a police officer later on in life. But Rudy and Tommy were about the same size. Tommy could have gone to the Olympics as a swimmer, and he was also a PAL boxing champ. But anyway, Rudy thought he was a tough guy, and the fight of the century was going to happen. And Rudy was walking around all day saying, "We're going to meet out in the yard." And Tommy, and I won't tell you his last name, but I will tell you that. So they were all, everybody, I mean the entire school, the entire PS 202 was out in the schoolyard, in the football field, right on South Conduit Avenue there. There were hundreds of people out there, and they were faced off, and Tommy hit him one time and knocked him out. Now, I'm talking knocked him out solid. So that was the end of Rudy's fighting career. So he thought he was a tough guy, and that happens. So Barry Jordan, I don't know that Barry Jordan would knock you out with one shot, but I believe that Barry Jordan would be all over you like stink on dog doo-doo. I think Barry Jordan is a scrapper. So, and I think all those people that I could do that, yeah, I don't see it happening. I didn't see it happen. So many people, and when I wrestled in high school, so many people walked around being this and that and the other thing, and nobody could knock the ground, nobody could take them down, and they would lose in 4 or 5 seconds to somebody that really knew how to wrestle. I watched it all. I watched guys with big mouths get taken down. I watched guys that never said a word that would take down the big guys. Okay? So all that blah, 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 you're going to do this and you're going to do that to Barry Jordan. I think Barry Jordan could hold his own. So thanks, Scott, for the comment. Thank you, Warren, for being here in general. All true, bro. I am inspired by your bravery, strength of purpose, and love for life, strength of character. You're a hell of a man, my friend. Directed to Warren Hunt from Scott Del Fuego, 2 highly decorated police officers. If you only knew. Trump is America's only hope to avoid a complete loss of individual freedoms. Okay, yep, that's true. That's true. That's true. Trump is America's only hope to avoid a complete loss of yeah, and that's true. But in the title, remember President Kennedy, Scott, Trump might slow it down to some degree, but when Kennedy went against the NWO, he was immediately, as soon as he decided to end the Fed, he was assassinated. Now, no doubt that he died. Who did it? There is no doubt to now. But here's what they do. They wait. They have locked up papers on the Kennedy assassination. They put it under the, you can't even get it underneath the FOIA request for 50 years. 50 years you have to wait for the information that came out about the Kennedy assassination. Even though they had video footage of it happening, they removed it. They showed you different angles. You know, there's 100 cameras on the Pentagon, maybe 200 cameras from the Pentagon, on the Pentagon, around the Pentagon. They have anti-missile defense systems on the Pentagon and the White House. Did they use them? No, because they wanted Kennedy dead, and they wanted a so-called 757 or 707 to make it look like it hit the Pentagon. None of that shit happened. Everybody knows the truth. And now these bullshit, these liars, these thieving, conniving, backstabbing, two-faced, duplistic nature architects for 9/11 are coming out with the truth. Took 20 years. 20 years. Most people don't care about 9/11. Most young people have never even heard of 9/11. You know, I was talking to a kid. Okay, so in my last live stream, I mentioned that a friend of mine asked me to call her. I did make one mistake about that. So about 2 months ago, I get a note on social media. Mike, call me. How's mom and dad? And I miss you. So I called. She didn't answer. This is my first girlfriend. When I dated her, my first in high school. I met her while I was in high school in September of 1973. On December 2nd of 1973 was the day we started dating, but I knew her since I was 14, 12 maybe. Anyway, she asks me to call her. So I call and she don't answer the phone. And I called again and she didn't answer the phone. And I called again because she sent another message and she didn't answer the phone. So she sent a message, today's Sunday. She sent the message last Sunday morning, Saturday night, America time. Call me, Mike. I miss you. So I called her Sunday afternoon one time, and she didn't answer the phone. I left a message on social media that maybe you're not seeing the number come in as a normal number. I'm calling from Skype. Well, anyway, she died Monday afternoon. So I was talking. Now, I lived with her not in 1973 because I was only in high school. I didn't have an apartment. But I lived with her in 1993 when I moved to Florida. In fact, I went to Florida to live in her house. And I did. with her son and her daughter, those names I won't mention. And so here's a boy who was 13 in 1993, and the daughter was, I think, 12. And they don't know anything about 9/11, because since that day, I spoke with the family, and I didn't ask why she died. I just said, I sent my regards, and that I wanted to speak with another member of the family who I always held dear to one member of the family besides that girl. Her children know, because I didn't know the children only just for a few weeks when I went and lived with them in South Central Florida. And but I didn't keep in touch with her over the years because we just lost track of one another. We didn't dislike each other. We just didn't. There was no social media in 93. And by the time I got on YouTube 15, 18 years later, she wasn't on any social media. So anyway, she died. And I don't miss her because I'm not in love with her. I did feel upset when I talked to her mother, who's still alive, and she remembers me well. But her children, who are 13 years old in 1993, don't remember me at all. And so if a child was 13, 14, 15 years old in 2001, they're not going to remember the World Trade Center hoax. They're not going to remember all the stories about different things that happened during 2001. They're not going to remember that, and they don't care. Who cares about stuff they don't remember? That's why the internet has been built up. The internet has been built up to give you knowledge, but it's also been built up to destroy the way you think, the way you understand reality, the way you understand life. The internet is a constant flow of nonsense. And if you don't know how to wade through the subterfuge, you will get caught up in the biggest lies and scams ever. So let's see the comments, and then I'm gonna drink some water. Warren and I had this conversation yesterday. The quiet guys are the ones you need to watch, not the ones who will say will beat you. That's true. That's how I got the nickname Just One Punch Hunt. So Warren's nickname was Just One Punch. That's why Warren offers you the opportunity to fight you and promises to only punch you one time, in case you're wondering. Michael can confirm he has seen my police officer's medals. Oh, yes, I have. Warren has a display of about, I'd say it's about 20 inches wide and about 26 inches high. And it has his medals and racks of medals in the display, behind glass. So I also happen to know that Warren was a police officer. So the fact that there are people with less education than anything that you could comprehend, I mean, how small of an education would you have to not understand that before Scott Del Fuego confirming Warren as a police officer, there were 1, 2, 3 other police officers, so a total of 4 besides Warren, confirming that Warren was a police officer. So if you're too stupid, if your brain doesn't function where you can remember what the facts are that Warren is a decorated police officer of 19 years in Australia. If you're too stupid to understand or remember that Warren is a police officer and state that Warren was not a police officer, well, that means you're too stupid to understand or remember that Warren is a police officer. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means you're too stupid to understand what the truth is. That's all. And all the wagers and all the people that said, I will wage you this and wage you that. Not only are you too stupid to remember the facts, but all the wagers that Warren posted that he will wage you money or tit for tat. You show this and I'll show that. And you're afraid to do that. Why? Because what you say is probably not true. What Warren says is true. You know that what Warren says is true. Or you don't have what it takes to take the Warren Hunt challenge. You just don't have what it takes. You need to be a man. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You need to be a man in this life. You need to have the skill sets, the tools, the boys to bring it on and to defend yourself where it's needed to be defended. When you make a statement like Warren Hunt is not a police officer, and then you won't back it up with money or a tit for tat, you show me this, I'll show you that, then you're not a man. You're the appearance of a man. You sound like a man, but manhood does not come into play. It never did. From what Warren told me about you, I doubt whether or not I have my doubts about this manhood thing. I've heard stories to counter those concepts, those manhood. I mean, unless you're talking about, like that, unless you're talking like that. But I've heard these stories. So anyway, Warren Hunt says Michael can confirm his medals, and I can confirm Warren's medals 100%. Michael, that last shot of Kennedy came from the front, not the back. That's true. That is true. The last shot of President Kennedy came from the front, and they believe it was his limousine driver. That was hidden for 50 years. Although it was seen right away, and people had look at the Apollo moon landing. You weren't allowed to have a live feed from the Apollo moon landing, the greatest event in human history, and they didn't live feed it. You had to copy. You had to take a picture of a bad resolution screen at the Kennedy Space Center. Yeah, they hide a lot of stuff, folks. All right, so a 1957 Dodge Power Wagon Resto on Barnett Jackson. What a cool freaking truck. All right, I don't know what that is. But if Scott says it's cool, it's got to be cool. Oh, God. I don't even know what to say. Scott is exaggeration, and Scott is building up the old ego. Scott says Michael Fazio has had more girlfriends than most guys have had hot lunches. I will neither confirm nor deny that statement. Now let's get to Mr. Trump and how he's getting ready to screw you all with his Jabba Dabba Doo program. But let's go to the article on whether or not Mr. Trump is a narcissist, because narcissism plays a big role in social media, on Twitter, Facebook, sometimes YouTube, and also presidential elections. So let's hear. Warren says, plus there are 5 police officers on my channel who I worked with who confirmed I was a police officer. Yes, sir. Oh, nobody doubts that, Warren. Only people with no education, no ability to comprehend reality, and live in a world of illusion will doubt that you were a police officer. And is Mr. Trump. Last time Gary Kennedy challenged the border wall thing, which I hope I covered in the first video and this video. And also someone laughed. That piece of garbage. What the hell is that guy's name? If you come on my channel, I'm going to block you for doubting the truth. So I said that the Fed offered the International Monetary Fund and banking system worldwide, global banking, $1 trillion a day for 30 days. Couldn't find that exact article, but I did find an article called "The Fed to Inject 1 trillion in bid to prevent unusual disruptions in the markets." So it was $1 trillion a day to the International Monetary Fund, but for the stock market, it was $1.5 trillion loan, and which came out to several $1 billion a day, or multiple $1 billion a day. Might have been, whatever $1 trillion is, they gave the stock market to boost it up. And did Trump give any of that money to us? $1,200, which doesn't amount to just a few $1 billion. So Trump is screwing you while he's posting. If anybody, I don't understand much about the stock market. Never owned a stock. I never wanted to buy a stock. I know people that own stocks and made money and lost money. But the stock market has nothing to do with the job market and nothing to do with manufacturing. It's all fake. Anyway, let's get to Trump's big plan to give you the jabba dabba do and reduce the world's population, according to the gates of hell, by 10 or 15%, which I just gave you that article, so I can now show you that article. Wall Street Journal. Feds. Wall Street Journal. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. The Federal Reserve said it would make vast sums of short-term loans available to Wall Street and purchase treasuries, securities, in a coronavirus-related response. It was $1.5 trillion. So they're giving all the big corporations money. Oh, by the way, did Trump tell you that he's taken over the airline business? He's now in the airline business, as is Australia. And Jeff Bezos, I think his name is, and that other guy, they're all taking over the airlines that are collapsing. Oh my God. Anyway, that's the end of that article. Now let's get to the topic at hand. All right, let's go to, is Trump a narcissist? And here we go. Trump might be a narcissist. First, let's read what a narcissist is. Narcissistic supply. A narcissist needs narcissistic supply. In psychiatric theory, narcissistic supply is a pathological or excessive need for attention or admiration from codependents, or such a need in the orally fixated. So it could either come from your friends and neighbors, family, or it could be orally fixated satiation for narcissistic supply. That does not take into account, so this orally fixated narcissistic supply does not take into account the feelings or opinions or preferences of other people. So when Trump critiques Biden, he's not taking into account Biden's feelings. But Biden probably deserved it. So Trump is getting the narcissistic supply by abusing Biden, and Biden is getting what he deserves, in my opinion, for being the narcissist that he is, but getting caught. So the only difference between Biden and Trump is that Biden has been caught, and Trump hasn't been caught because he's got everybody bullshitted. I mean, Trump is Obama on steroids. You have no idea. Trump is being accused of putting children in cages, in which he when he separated the families, he put them, he did separate them, maybe even in cages. I don't know. I think he did. But who built the cages? Obama. And nobody said a word about it because there's the duplistic nature of the press. So the duplistic nature of the press and the liberals, they don't talk about the crimes that Obama committed, and neither does Trump, because he's a lying piece of garbage with arms and legs. Trump is. He's a lying piece of garbage with arms and legs. Like, picture an old can of maggot-filled dog food and with arms and legs just walking into the White House. That's Trump. That's Trump. He lies. He deceives. He's never told you the truth about the most important things. The Jabba Dabba Do isn't a one-time thing. It's a program, and if you don't go on the program, eventually you won't have a bank account. He doesn't say that. But he lies about other things, too. He said he was going to deport more people than Obama. Time to drink. And in his third year of his presidency, he deported 109,000 immigrants. And in Obama's third year of presidency, he deported 389,000 immigrants. So he didn't do that. He also said that he was going to find and expose Obama's birth certificate. That's OMMMAS birth certificate. Obama's birth certificate. He never did that. He said he was going to publicly humiliate Clinton and put her in, she belongs behind bars. He never did that. Oh, no, baby. He said he was going to get to the truth about what happened in September of 2001. One of the greatest, most efficient builders in the history of mankind, Donald J. Trump. He knew. He said it the next day. There's that it's impossible for those buildings to have collapsed the way they did. Trump said this within 24 hours after the World Trade Center went interviewed, and then that article disappeared because Trump is just as complicit in the murder of 3,000 Americans as was Bush and Cheney. And now it's time for me to drink my water. Hopefully, I won't drown. Oh my God, how can I drown drinking water? Well, if I breathe it in through my lungs, could be problematic. But if I put it in my stomach, not so much. So, of course, real men know when they drink water to put it in their stomach, as opposed to men that don't know where to put the water they put in their mouth that goes into their lungs accidentally, or because they're too stupid to close their palate, open their palate. Ready? This is the classic Michael Fazio water drinking thing. You can see there's, I have to go to my channel, make sure I'm still up. Yep, here I am. Okay, so Scott says, to be fair, no POTUS. That's right, Scott. Scott with the intelligentsia, I mean. Scott has, that is right. That is correct. Kennedy tried it. That's what Scott's talking about. Kennedy tried it and failed. Scott says, to be fair, no POTUS can tell the truth to the nation and still be viable as president. The population is too brainwashed and too stupid to accept the real truth about most things. That's true. But he does want to use the military to do a program of Jabba Dabba Doos. That's gonna hurt a lot of people. So here's the water bubble. You know the water. Well, you'll see the bubbles bubbling. Here we go. We're about ready to drink a whole 780 milliliters of water without drowning. This should be like a Houdini act. Yeah, ready? You see, it's full. I'll just pour a little bit on my hand. Not too much. Okay, the water on my hand. I don't want to be accused of spilling. I know guys that used to buy a bottle of Colt 45 and they were spillers. They would spill it out and then they'd act drunk, not opposed to the real men who drank the whole bottle. They'd let half of it wash down the side of their face. We would buy a bottle of Colt 45 or a cup. That was 40 cents, but Miller and Schlitz was like 25 cents. We'd buy a quart and we would try to down it, but most guys were spillers. Those are the weaker, the lesser. Those were the men, the same people that were spillers back in 1969 that would buy a quart of Miller, a quart of Schlitz, or a quart of Colt if you could afford it, or Schaefer. That was 25 cents too. If the same guys that would spill are the same guys that never amounted to anything in real life. So I'm not a spiller. That was a sacrificial drop of water to show you that the bottle was full. We don't spill here on the Michael Fazio man show, real man show. Oh, did I show you any tools? Let me show you. I got tools everywhere. Where's the tool? Where's the tool? Where's the tool? Freaking tool. Here's a tool. Here's my this freaking Milwaukee flashlight. Jack! See this Milwaukee flashlight? With this battery, I had it on for 14 hours and it still wasn't dead. And with the small battery, I had it on for 4 hours and it didn't die. This is amazing, this Milwaukee tool. This is a tool. Real men have tools, multiple tools, different kinds of tools, and real men drink bottles of water. There's some of that sacrificial. We're like God today. We're going to sacrifice the whole bottle to the water gods. We are not sippers. There's only one real sipper in this world, and his name is Steve Montelli. After that, if you're a sipper, you're not a man. Ready? Yeah, we're ready. See? Real men can drink a bottle of water. One man can sip water properly. That's the great Steve Montelli. The rest, not so much real men. No burp today. No, got it. Real men burp after they drink a bottle of water. And let's go back to what is a narcissist. Buffering, huh? Okay, LaRue. Scott says, to be fair, no POTUS can tell the truth. It's buffering because of the garbage internet we have in the Philippines. Yesterday, I went to my connectivity page and I was getting 0.9 of 1 gigabyte upload. 0.9. I'm paying for 10. I get 1.5 gigabyte upload if I'm lucky. And today I don't know what it is. So let's go back. Is Trump a narcissist, baby? Who in their right mind would defy these tenets of narcissism? Who can deny that Trump is the ultimate narcissist? The primary narcissist supply is based on attention in both its public forms, such as recognition, fame, infamy, big word there, stardom, and its private, more impersonal types of praise, admiration, and applause, fear, and repulsion. So not only does a narcissist seek praise as a for what is called narcissistic supply, but he may also seek narcissistic supply in the methodology of fear and repulsion. So the more someone repulses the true narcissist, the more supply he gets. So there are good narcissistic supply like admiration, praise, birthday cakes, and people clapping when you walk on stage. That's narcissistic supply. And then there's the bad narcissistic supply, was when you walk on stage and people throw tomatoes at you. Either form of narcissistic supply is acceptable to the true narcissist. Makes no difference. Praise, anger, hate, rage, they need it. Without it, they can't live. And Trump, in my opinion, fits that description. So now let's read. Now this is the link. Let me get you that link up on the page there. I want to get that link up there so you can follow me, because I'm going to read about 10 or 15 different descriptions for what is narcissistic supply. I want to read that out to you so that you can follow. I'm going to go through one link at a time for about, I don't know, till I get tired of reading. So here's the page. Remember next week's show is going to be on what is a psychopath. What is a psychopath? Definition of a psychopath at dictionary.com. That's next week's show. So let's get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to go to what is a narcissist. At least you have something to look forward to next week, right? Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. You do have something to look forward to next week. What is a psychopath coming up next Sunday? Today is what is a narcissist. So let's say I gave you the link. If you guys want to open that link up. People also ask, and this is called the drop-down arrow right here. It's like a V. It drops down a piece of information. So it says, how do you know if you are narcissistic supply? So how do you know if you are supplying a narcissist? So it goes on to say, identity disorder. The longer the relationship with the narc continues, the less you feel, act, and talk like you. So the longer you identify with the narcissist, the less of you remains in your heart and soul. This comes from the narc dictating who you are. Now, this is perfectly coincides with being connived and lied to by politicians. So think about this. The longer your relationship with the narc continues, the less you feel and act like you inside. So if you were once a believer in no Jabba Dabba Do, and Trump comes along and says you need the Jabba Dabba Do program, and you start to believe that you need that program for something that hasn't killed anybody in theory more than 0.06%, and now they want to stop the whole world, the economic structure, the entire world, every airline, every shipping company, every freight company, every ocean liner company, they want to stop that for less than 0.06% death rate, and you believe that happy horse shit. That's Trump's narcissistic, wondrous narcissistic ability to make you believe that something that is not true is true. This comes from the narc dictating who you are. Trump is dictating what you should be. He is saying you must believe this because I said it. That's true narcissistic. That's a true narcissist. If you tell them how you feel, the narc will. Now, if you retaliate and tell them how you feel, if you tell Trump, I don't believe you, I think it's this. The narc will twist it and say, no, that's now who you are, or I know who you really are. So basically they're telling you you don't know the truth and you have to believe me because I'm Trump. What are some examples of narcissistic behavior? Oh, I love this part. Every single one of these examples fits Trump to a T. Grandiose sense of self-importance. The grandiose sense of self-importance that no one ever has corrected Trump to make him understand that he has lied, deceived, and bamboozled the American people. Nobody has ever proven Trump wrong. Trump lives in a fantasy world that supports his delusions of grandeur. Nobody will ever make Trump believe that he has made a mistake or has a misspoken or lied or deceived or anything. Trump has never done any of those things, and that's what makes him a narcissist. A narcissist needs constant praise and admiration. That's why Trump is always calling press conferences. Every day, if it was possible, Trump would have a press conference. Every day, Trump would come on and try to convince you that Trump is this and Trump is that and Trump. I don't lie to my American people. I don't lie to America. I don't lie to anybody. I need constant praise and admiration because I'm the president. You have to believe me. I need narcissistic supply, said President Trump in not so many words. He has a sense of entitlement. He believes he can come on at any hour of the day or night. Twitter, all day, 24/7. He believes that his Twitter is important because Trump is a narcissist. And here's the biggest part about Trump. Trump exploits others without guilt or shame. He exploited Clinton without guilt or shame. He exploited Obama's birth certificate without guilt or shame. He called the immigrants illegal immigrants without guilt or shame. He said that the Proud Boys were doing a good job or something like that without any guilt or shame. He put down Black Lives Matter without any guilt or shame because he needs narcissistic supply because he's the Trumpster. And now, this is the ultimate of a narcissist's qualities. Frequently demeans, intimidates, bullies, or belittles others. What did Trump do on stage to Joe Biden's son and Joe Biden? Trump intimidated Joe Biden. He bullied Joe Biden. He belittled Joe Biden's son because narcissists frequently demean, intimidate, and bully other people. That's what they do. That's what gives them the title of having a narcissistic personality disorder. And Trump fits all of those descriptions. Here's a keynote. We're going to do 2 or 3 more of these. What happens to a narcissist when they lose their supply? What happens to a narcissist when people stop talking about them? They'll hold a press conference. They'll do a Twitter. They'll make a YouTube video. What happens to a narcissist when they lose their suppliers? They have to go out and get new supply. Narcissists hate losing their supply, so they won't let go easily. Prepare for them to promise to change. Oh, Trump promised. They might suddenly start doing things that you had not been complaining about. Oh yeah, they'll just bring up new topics. They'll go from one abuse, they'll abuse one person, then they'll abuse somebody else, then he'll abuse Joe Biden, then he'll abuse Obama, then he'll abuse Clinton, then he'll abuse Putin, then he'll abuse the Black Lives Matter community. Narcissists need supply, baby, and Trump is the ultimate narcissist. They may say, you'd be lost without me. Make America great again. They might say, you'd be lost without me. Make America great again. That's Trump saying, if you don't make me president, you'll lose America. That is Trump. He's a narcissist. Without him, America wouldn't be great. Or you'll never find another someone like me. He always tells you this. He always says, I am not a politician. I am a businessman. You'll never find another someone like me. I'm the only person that you should listen to because Trump is a narcissist. Now, other people might have those traits, but Trump does it better, baby. So I'm going to go read the comments now. Oop, I think I lost the page. Here we are. And let's go over to the... Oh, here we are. We're back. What happened to that article? Trump does what is called pressers. He gets on, he goes out there and throws out a whole bunch of horse shit for a few minutes, and then he doesn't take questions and walks off the stage. Yeah, Trump is the ultimate freaking narcissist. He'll just call a meeting at any time of the day or night. Well, I mean, he'll give the news media an advance, but the public might have an hour or so update. But Trump is a freaking first-class, grade A narcissist, borderline, other names, other kinds of sociopathic disorders. Trump is the ultimate at throwing out shit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's a Twitter addict. I think they even have a name for that now. Yeah, Trump will just get up and go on his Twitter account at any time of the day or night. Any social media account where somebody just gets up and goes all the time, nonstop, and blah 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 blah. Anytime somebody goes, can't stop for 4 or 5 days, can't stop. Trump has never gone 4 or 5 days without making a public statement. Trump is the ultimate positive proof of what narcissism is. If it affects or sounds like somebody else, it's because narcissism is what drives people to be great. It does. Without being a little bit of a narcissist, everybody would fail to be themselves. They would have no ego. It's partly ego, it's part narcissism. But when it takes control of the human genome, it moves into another category of narcissism. Without being a little bit of a narcissist, Jack Thompson would have never started a business because Jack Thompson knows he's better at some things than other people. Then you have people that have never accomplished anything who believe they are great. That's also a form of narcissism. Let's see what we got there. Not allowed. Sorry. I agree, but it's not allowed. So it's about Biden and camel toe. But we can't have that on my channel. Thank you. But I mean, I know everybody wants to be a superstar and wants to say this. And let me tell you what happened this morning, AM. No disrespect to you, but a guy, and I won't tell you who. Well, I'll tell you the name of the channel, Press Reset Earth. Press Reset Earth. Good channel. I have a couple of articles up here, but I will not read the articles from Press Reset Earth. I will not do that. So he put an article up showing a video about Joe Biden's son and allegations against Joe Biden's son. Now, I don't know if he still has a channel, but that video was immediately struck. I mean, the video was 17 minutes long, and I was up to like the 6-minute mark, and the video was removed for violating YouTube's terms of service. Now, I don't know if he got a strike. I'm sure he'll tell us. I'm pretty sure I noticed. I went there this morning at 7 o'clock. I turned the video on. There were like 25 views. And before it got to the 7-minute mark, it was gone. So you're not allowed to say anything about Biden. So take the Biden and Mrs. Camel and put it someplace else. All right. So we have somebody that doesn't listen. Now, AM, if you want to be famous, grow a pair of boys, or maybe you have a pair of boys, you just don't know how to use them, and do your own vlog. And you could post anything you want on your blog. What do you come to my channel for and post this crap? What for? You're not going to go anywhere with it. It got censored. It's going to get me in trouble, but you don't care about my channel, so I don't care about you. Next time you post that, I'll block you personally. I'll go to your channel and I'll block you. So stop. You're not allowed to talk about Biden, and you're not allowed to say that about Kamala Harris, whatever her name is. So we have just a few people watching. I've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I did my drinking of the bottle of water. The next week, I think what I'm going to do on Sunday, my entire live stream will probably, I have a backdrop coming in, so you don't see all those pots and pans on the wall. I think I'm going to put up a temporary wall over there, and I'm going to do. I have something really interesting coming. That's oh, you know what? I think it was delivered yesterday. In fact, it was. What am I thinking about? Look, see this? I'm going to be able to, so that you don't see all that stuff in the background, the pots and pans. I have this, it's like kind of like a shelf covering, and it's pretty big. It's going to cover the whole background. You guys are going to love this. You're going to love this. No flesh, but it is a custom made to order. It's like wallpaper, but it's going to go behind me. So when I talk about next week's topic, which is going to be mostly about, I'm going to try to just stick to 2 topics next week. I'm going to not give you examples of, but I'm going to prove before the election that not only is Donald Trump a narcissist, of a high level narcissist, but he might be a sociopath and possibly a psychopath. So next week we're going to read what is a narcissist, what narcissists do. We'll go back to that in a minute. And what is a psychopath and what is a sociopath. But before I do that, I want to be able to cover up all that stuff in the back with this new wallpaper that I have. It's exactly 40 inches, I think. No, 36 inches. 36 inches, and it goes from floor to ceiling. And it's going to cover, so this way you can concentrate on what a narcissist and Trump is and what a sociopath, if Trump is a sociopath, and what Trump might be, a psychopath. This is next week's, and the wallpaper will be up just the week before election so that you will be able to concentrate on the words of wisdom from Michael Fazio, because this is going to cover up all that clutter in the background, and that's when you'll be able to focus on the lesson of the day. What is a narcissist next week? What is a psychopath next week? And what is a sociopath next week? And I don't want to have any clutter interfering with your mind. It's like trying to listen to rap music and do trigonometry. They don't go together. So me talking with all that clutter on the shelves doesn't go together. I want you people to be able to focus. When I call Trump a sociopath, or ask you if he's a sociopath, or when I call Trump a psychopath, or ask you if Trump is a psychopath, I want you to have an uncluttered, unfettered, unflustered ability to see the veil, let's call it the veil, the Christ-like veil that's going to be behind me in living color from floor to ceiling. This is going to stop you from being detracted from the concept of what is a narcissist, what is a sociopath, and what is a psychopath. Next week, I could reveal a little bit of it, but if I do that, I would be keeping my word, not word, unkeeping, lying to you if I said now that I said it, I have to do it. I'll just reveal a little bit of this to you. Oh, here it is. It is pink. That's all you need to know. That this veil that will be posted next week is pink. A little bit more. Let me see. Let me see how much I could reveal to you without revealing what it is. Oh, I could reveal a lot more. Oh, my God. Oop, got to stop there. This veil that's coming up next week, it is my favorite color, pink. This veil is going to cover up the lie. It's going to cover up the lie. It's going to cover up the lie. It's going to cover up the clutter behind me, and so that you people don't have to have the clutter. Save it up till next week. Oh yeah, I might even go on an hour early because it's going to take about an hour to put it up. I have the framework for it over there. Save it for next week, says Warren H. Warren knows, baby. Yeah, baby, Warren knows. Warren has seen the light of pink, and there's nothing like a good piece of pink, I'll tell you that. So, ladies and gentlemen, LaRue Seagrass, Salama, thank you, LaRue. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming along. Wow, we have I looked up for the first time, we had 8 people watching, and we managed to break a record. 32 thumbs down. My God, oh my God. Probably because I told you that Big Kevin's channel is something I would never watch again. Hot pink, not brown, baby. Oh, wait, talking about pink. Warren was in the park. I hope he gets a picture of this. But, so Warren, this is karma. This is karma. I'm going to tell the story. He won't mind. Warren and I are friends. We know where our boundaries lie. So Warren last week had to go in for his radiotherapy session. This is true now. This is true. And he went near the beach to sit to watch the water. And he was sitting on the park bench, not feeding the pigeons. But you could probably see that he was a little bit upset because he had to go in for his first radiotherapy. And while he's sitting on the bench, a girl that Warren said in real life could be Miss World walks up to him with a G-string bikini with just a little triangular patch of material on the front, on her lower torso, and the same on her upper torso. Just 2 little. The way Warren described it, it was smaller than a pack of cigarettes on the bottom for sure, and only half the size of a box of cigarettes on the top. And they were perfectly located to block all the what YouTube would censor as a flesh. So Warren, she stands next to Warren and says, "Are you okay?" And he told her he was going in for radiotherapy. The girl talks to him for a while and then drops her phone number on his lap to tell Warren that, give me a call. He's talking about luck. And that was last week before he went into radiotherapy. So God, the karma God is on Warren's side. So what you will probably never see is a picture of that girl who does look like Miss World. I'm not going to show it. But Warren reminds me of that Emerson, Lake and Palmer song, Lucky Man. Warren is lucky man, baby. When you see, if he ever decides to show you a picture of this woman, you're going to say, no way. Yeah, way. And I heard that Warren had an accident on YouTube, and now I know why. The girl probably took a 15 minutes to even see that Warren had a face after what we heard that story about Warren on YouTube yesterday. Now we know why Warren is called the big man on campus. Gotta tell you. Maybe Warren had that bad boy drying out. I don't know. She was smoking hot. What? Karmacon. Yeah, Karmacon. Oh, God. I don't know if Warren showed you a picture of her, Scott, but she was looking like Miss World. Yes, sir. Still here, says Laura Seagrass, so we'll have to stop talking about flesh. But we could talk about slackers. Warren is no slacker when it comes to meeting women. I don't know that he ever will meet her privately, but I do know that she does look like Miss World. Next Friday. There you go. Warren just confirmed they're going out next Friday. Someone saw it. Warren has been blessed. Jesus didn't just bless Warren. Jesus came down when Warren was born and made sure he was blessed. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard yesterday. I heard some stories. Even I don't want to say who was talking about it, but everybody was talking about Warren's little accident that he had yesterday. So, yeah, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you a lot more than he loves me or anybody else I know. But maybe that's what Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the musical group, said. God bless the child that's got his own. I don't know. God bless you, Warren. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, everybody, LaRue, especially, thank you for stopping by. Warren, Scott, AB, even though you didn't get your comment up there. Jack Thompson, of course, please answer your phone. But you know, it's since my birthday, you haven't answered your phone, September 25th, Jack. And that's okay. I know that you probably just don't feel like answering the phone, but it would have been nice. But the messages, the things you needed to know, I left the messages for. So thank you. Thanks for the super chat. Thank you. Simulacron, thank you for the super chat. Dennis Adam, thank you for the super chat. Scott Del Fuego, always thank you for your generosity. Warren, thank you for your generosity. LaRue, thank you for your blessings. And LaRue always makes me 1 or 2 pesos for advertisement. And let's see, Michael, I'll ring after my students leave. The music. Okay, so Warren teaches music on Saturday and Sundays. NWO Supra, hello. I did see your comment. I was busy talking about Narcissist, but next week you guys are going to be able to give your opinion as to whether or not Trump is a narcissist, a sociopath, or a full-blown psychopath. That's going to be, and of course, next week we will have no interference with the clutter behind me. I ordered a special poster to be made, especially for me. It starts off with the pink and ends up in a way that proves that this material will block the garbage on the shelves behind me. That's all it really proves, nothing else. It proves that you'll be able to focus much better on my dissertation on Trump. All true. Oh, okay. That's from a long time ago. So Pedro Rojas Cervantes, Salamat, thank you for stopping by. There was a troll. Chris Alexander, my long-term friend and long-term Patreon member, Chris Alexander, thank you for stopping by. If you're still watching or if you watched the end of this live stream, Simulacron, I did thank. Jack Thompson, I did thank. Didn't get a lot of people here today that spoke up, but that's okay. Next week we'll do some political enterprising. Yes, we will. We are going to talk about politics, Shiny Rhythm Blog. Now, let me just tell you a little story about Shiny Rhythm Blog, and then we're going to end it. So, Shiny Rhythm Blog is a guy that asked me to do videos to help him build his channel 7-8 years ago, and I did that. And he promised he was going to do a music video for me, and he didn't do that. So I asked him not to comment again. Welcome to Look at the Channel. But if you don't keep your promises with me, I don't really want to have much to do with you. As should be the case. So thanks everybody for stopping by. Let's ring a bell. Let's bang a gong. Let's get it on, baby. Bang a pot. We did make a lot. Between that and other things, we did good. We did good this week, this month, and this year, baby. Thank you. Oh. Ow, my finger. I smashed my finger. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, baby. In the Philippines. Salamat. Simulacron is still here. Thank you very much, Simulacron. Simulacron. Thanks all. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you. I've read all your intelligent comments, which are all intelligence. Way more than I could ever hope that. I couldn't talk like Simulacron. Even on my best day, I don't have one iota of his language skills, or Scott's, or Jack Thompson's for that matter. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to end it. We're going to do a countdown. We're going to do a 5, 4, 3. And when I hit 0, the stream ends. I don't leave you guys hanging at the end of the stream. I'm not like that. 5, 4, 3. Oh, I told you about my friend who died. That was my first girlfriend. So the motto of that story was, she asked me to call her. I called her. She asked me to call her again. I sent her a message. She didn't answer the message. She sent another message. I sent the message back that I called. And last Saturday night, she asked me to call her. And Sunday afternoon, I called her, but Monday she died. So the moral of this story is, if someone tells you that they miss you and to call them, try to get that done, because you never know how long that person is going to be around. So thanks for watching. And I really did feel bad. I mean, she was my first girlfriend. Certainly I was her first boyfriend. And that was from the December 2nd of 1973. That was the day we met and became boyfriend and girlfriend, although we knew each other since we were probably 14 or even maybe 12. And I really wished I would have talked to her before she died. I mean, if I knew she was going to die, I would have called day and night. But I did call her several times. She didn't answer the phone. So the model of this story is, if someone says, call me, I miss you, call them. They may be dying and just don't want to say it. And that's the moral of the story. So 5, 4, at 0 we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Umping Permy from the Philippines, baby. That's right.